Okay, this is going to be video 5, and several more are going to follow this. And these videos are going to deal with the actual mechanics and fundamentals of firing the Glock 21 and combat handgun and home protection. So the very first thing I'm going to start with here is words and terminology we don't utilize and why. The why is we want to acquire a certain mindset to be able to utilize the Glock 21 and protect ourselves in a stress situation. Okay, the very first thing, and right at the top of the list, this is Mr. Glock 21. He is not a pistol, a handgun, or a firearm. He is a weapon. The purpose of this weapon is to defend your life if you need to. And the reason we think that way is, that way, if you think that way, you don't have to waste your time apologizing to your liberal friends for having a gun. In fact, the quick and easy answer to that, if anyone makes an issue of it, the quick and easy answer to that is you just tell them, Mr. Glock 21 is my friend. He will be there when I need him. 9/11 won't. So that's the real quick and easy answer, and that's the mindset and the mentality you have to have. The next word that is not in our vocabulary is the word kill. Now, all you have to do is just think of that as another four-letter word, just like any other profanity. We do not, I repeat, we do not shoot to kill. We only shoot to defend our lives. Death is just an unintended and unforeseen consequence of 2 to center mass and 1 to the brain cavity. It wasn't intentional. Okay, the third word that is not in our vocabulary is accidental discharge. If you do not have a round in the chamber of your weapon and or do not press the trigger, it will not discharge. There are no accidental discharges, only negligent ones. The last word not in our vocabulary is dry fire. We do not practice dry fire exercises. We practice dry practice. Now, the reason for that is this is the most important part of our training and will be thoroughly explained in another part of this series. Okay, the next thing I'm going to demonstrate here is some safety issues and loading and unloading your weapon and the magazine and some of the issues involved in that. Okay, the first thing is safety. Now, I covered some safety in another video, but the reason I'm doing it again, you can't cover safety too much. That's the first and most important thing. And now, when I think of safety, okay, there's 2 parts of safety. Obviously, if you have anger management issues, you don't want to have a weapon around to begin with. That's the first. You don't want to be handling your weapon and point it towards your wife or one of your kids and have a negligent discharge in their direction. You know, that's a real biggie. You don't want to have your weapon loaded when you're cleaning it and think it's unloaded and stuff like that. You know, so that's a very important part of safety. But there's another part of safety no one ever mentions or thinks about, and that part of safety is you want to end everything with a magazine check and a chamber check and make sure your weapon is in a combat ready condition. Now, the reason for that is you don't want to have a home invasion at 3 a.m. and pick up your weapon and find out you didn't chamber around and you know, nothing happens when you press the trigger. That's highly embarrassing and it's probably going to get you killed. So that's a very important part of safety too. So now right quick here I want to demonstrate loading and unloading the Glock 21. Okay, the first thing is these are the magazines. They come in 2 versions. This is the high capacity 13 round. Now Mr. Glock came from the heartland when I was back there, so that's the reason I was able to get two high capacity magazines. Now I tried to get two more like this, and for some reason the gun store in the heartland only had extra 10 round magazines, so that's what I got, is two extra 10 round magazines. I don't know why that is. Now here in the People's Republic of California, in their infinite wisdom, they only allow us to possess 10 round magazines. Now what that means is if you're in a fight with say 15 gangbangers and you only have 10 round magazines, this is not necessarily good, but it's not a real problem. I mean, you can go on YouTube and see plenty of Rambo types, and these guys can empty half a dozen 10 round magazines in under a minute, and you'll be amazed at the rate of fire. It's almost like they're utilizing a submachine gun or something, but it's just one right after the other. Empty the magazine, reload, and all this happens in less than a minute, and 6 of them are gone. So the practical results of not allowing us to have 13 round magazines are not really an issue. Now to load this thing, as I said, everything finger off the trigger to begin with, right here in the little notch. Everything begins and ends with a chamber check and a magazine check, because you want to have that habit. Take your magazine here like this, wrap 3 fingers around it, index it here with the first finger, slide it home like that, grasp the slide, pull it back all the way. When you release the slide, you tap your shoulder with your left hand. That way the spring carries the round forward in the chamber. You don't do what's called babying the slide that way. And to end this, you end it by doing a chamber check, and sure enough there's brass in the chamber, and a magazine check. There's a magazine in the well. Now your weapon is fully loaded. It's in a combat ready condition. You just put it back where you normally keep it for that purpose. So okay, I've covered the very first thing here. Let me check my camera here and see how much time I've utilized for this. As I say, we're only allowed about 10 minutes for each video we make on YouTube, so I need to see how much time I used. I didn't start the okay, I find out here I've utilized 8 minutes for this video, so I'm going to cut this one off, and on video 2 I will next continue with the sight alignment and operation of the trigger.